Hi, good morning, and welcome to Funny Minds. I'm your host, Lynn B., and I have my co-host, Edward Bess. And today we have on our show, Edward, who do we have on our show?
Well, today we're going to feature, to my left, obviously.
To my right.
Obviously, this really handsome man to my left. We're going to feature Mr. Rich Rubin today. Rich is the owner, operator, creator, mastermind, evil mastermind of the nationally recognized, and I would say internationally. You've done a lot of stuff overseas with tours. Mr. Rich Rubin, owner of Maximum Bands. Maximum Bands was created back in when?
2005.
2005.
Yep.
He started with basically like one act, and now has what?
433.
433 bands you represent.
Across the country.
How do you keep them on track?
I don't answer my phone. That's how I
can't see your phone. Okay.
Yeah, there's things we're going to have to learn from him today on how to deal with divas.
Yep.
And show business people. Because he's dealt with it. Believe me, if he's dealt with me for 15 years and still has hair,
well, wait a
he's
minute.
done a pretty good job.
Wait, I didn't see the cap off, so I don't know if he
he's got hair. He's got a little fro going. I can attest
to that. Okay.
Yeah, I got my little.
So, yes, today, Mr. Rich Rubin, we have with us good friend, also a musician. So he's, a good judge of talent and has put together tours, national tours. He's put together international shows with every, I would say, national act available, dating back from like some of the acts from the 50s.
Yeah, we've worked with a lot of different people.
Like Frankie
Very
Valli.
eclectic. No, I've never worked with Frankie Valli.
You did some Motown people.
Yep, we did some Motown. I've worked with a lot of different acts over the years, everything from hair bands to grunge to, Blues Traveler, Blue Oyster Cult to some one-hit wonder people, country.
More cowbell.
Yep. We've worked with a lot of people, and Blue Oyster Cult's great because they actually do that bit on stage, the Saturday Night Live bit, like they make fun of themselves. Yeah, they do it. It's really cool. They get a big cowbell they come out with and they bang it, So, so we've worked with a lot of really great people. I've met a lot of my heroes, which I never thought would happen in this business, but meet a lot of people that are very down to earth, and you meet some people that were unexpectedly not cool. So, and the people you've heard that are really, lousy people are actually turn out to be great people. So it's really a lot of it's just rumor and hearsay until you actually meet the people and sit down with them. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who are the most important, who do you, I shouldn't put you on the spot like that.
Okay.
But all right, who are the top bands that you represent? Now, you do tribute bands and regular bands too?
Yeah, Maximum Bands was created with the idea to book everything, every kind of genre. And tribute bands were a small part of it in the beginning. I was in the Northeast with an agency for a while and saw tribute bands starting to come around. And when I came down here and started the agency, I knew I wanted to do more of it, but I had no idea it would explode until I met the band Highway to Hell, who Eddie was in for a while. And in the beginning, I found them in a bar, an AC/DC band, and our buddy Martin, which we knew would somehow come up. But they were so enigmatic and the band was so great that they would go in and play places and buyers would like, I want more of this. So we had to get more tribute bands. And, I'd have to find them or create them, which I created quite a few from acts like a duo. I would say, hey, you'd be really good as a Fleetwood Mac band. And a month later, they're playing the theater as Fleetwood Mac. So, and same thing with Eddie with Motley Crue. And, he was in an 80s band back then, which evolved into other things.
Jet City.
Yeah. So it really was unexpected that the tribute thing would explode the way it did. And now it's probably 90% of my business. We book a lot of tribute bands, but I do everything from corporate events to weddings to duos, country, reggae, you name it. So, yeah.
Rap? You have some rappers?
No, and actually I'm really looking to do more hip hop. There's no hip hop tributes, which I would love something like that.
He does well.
I work with a lot of R&B artists, though.
Right.
I have a lot of great
He's got
R&B
some
stuff.
really good ones.
Yeah,
so,
really.
What's the singer? We played with her, Highway to Hell, out in Sarasota.
Latreia
Okay.
Savage. She's amazing.
Savage.
She's local. She plays a lot around here, but she also does Donna Summer, Diana Ross.
I love Donna Summer. Love
Whitney
her.
Houston. She does a lot of shows for me.
Oh, she
Just-
must have a really good voice.
She's got an
if
amazing
she's doing
voice.
Whitney
Insane.
Yeah,
Houston.
she's a
Insane.
beautiful lady, great singer, and great artist. She's played
Wow.
places like SeaWorld for me. She played the main stage there, and she's really great. So we have a lot of really cool artists like that.
See, up by us in the north, I mean, tribute bands they're so popular and have been for many, many
Yeah,
years now.
because it kind of started up there.
Exactly.
Beatlemania started,
Exactly.
the whole thing.
Well, Rich is from Long Island.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I
Alright.
saw tribute bands way back in the day, but
yeah.
it was weird because we were like, why would a band act like Ozzy? We thought it was an odd thing to see that,
Right.
because I was in original bands and I knew cover bands, but I never understood the whole tribute band thing until I really saw it one day. I worked for an agency in Virginia, and I had to go to lunch with this U2 band. I went to lunch with these guys, and they looked nothing like U2, and I'm like, U2 band? And, it was cool. And that night I went to see them.
With or without you.
They went backstage
call
and
me then?
they changed and came out and they were U2. And it sucked me in big time because I was like, wow, they went from these guys to becoming U2, the look, the moves, and I'd never seen anything like that. And that stuck with me. And like, I want to do more of that. That's amazing. So.
Well, I was very lucky to grow up during the Capitol Theater era, so I saw all the great bands. In
Capitol
person,
Theater.
live.
Oh my
and then
God.
you could go to Central Park where you weren't going to be mugged or killed or raped.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of
Well,
they do a lot of free concerts at the park
Unless you
too.
pay
Simon and
for it.
Garfunkel.
So then,
Man,
my
Simon and
favorite,
Garfunkel.
my favorite was Janis Joplin. She just rocked New York like nobody's ever rocked New York before. She was incredible.
Do you know Janis Joplin? You just jarred me with this. Guitarist for Whitesnake did this show with Janis Joplin. That's where he got his start. Who's playing with Whitesnake now?
Oh, no. It
Long blonde hair?
couldn't be. No,
Yeah.
he didn't. Janis Joplin died in like
No.
69.
The Broadway show.
Janis.
Yeah,
I
Joel
saw that.
Joel
Hoekstra,
Hoekstra.
yeah,
He's an amazing guitarist.
Yeah, he was in Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages.
Oh yeah, Rock of
he's
Ages
great.
was really
And
good, too.
he plays with Whitesnake, a lot of big bands, but he played with Cher,
Yeah, he's played with everybody.
and he did the Janis Joplin on Broadway. That's
I
just,
saw Janis.
sorry to
on
interrupt,
Broadway.
but I heard Janis Joplin.
But the thing, what I'm trying to say is that we grew up with all of this, and we're very lucky to have that. And you can't see these bands all the time.
Yeah.
So when all the tributes started coming in, it was like, and if it was a really good tribute, it was like close your eyes and you're watching, you're listening to that band all over. Just like when I saw Janis on Broadway, the girl who did the lead as Janis, perfect. Absolutely perfect.
You know who can't do it?
You know.
Him.
Yeah, I can't sing like Janis.
Well,
Yeah.
not many
But
of us can.
I love the suspension of belief. When you
Mm-hmm.
go to see a show and you see looks on people's faces. We've been to shows, and you've seen this, where people thought it was the real band.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
We had our Kid Rock show at Bike
Oh,
Week,
Josh.
and
wow.
Josh.
and girls were running down the street with their flip flops in their hands, like, "Oh my God, Kid Rock's playing!" And they'd come to the side of the stage. Can we meet him? And I'm like, "That's not Kid Rock," and they wouldn't believe me. They're like, "No, you're kidding, right?" And I'm like, "No, that's not Kid Rock."
That's when
They're
you
like,
know
"You're
it's a
lying."
good tribute.
Then you know you got something because people are
Exactly.
like, "Oh my God, that's the real thing," And we've had real artists see, like the real Kid Rock has seen Josh, and I stood there and he just would laugh watching him, like, "Wow, look at this guy." So it's cool because a lot of the real artists have embraced the tribute bands. There's a few that haven't,
Like Queen, like Roger Taylor.
I'll leave that. No, Roger Taylor's cool because he created the Queen touring thing.
Oh, the
but-
Mullen?
But like the Eagles, they're not really cool with it. Neil
Oh,
Schon,
really?
some of these guys have
Really?
sent out letters to cease and desist, and
Oh, really?
and we have to remind them, like, hey, when somebody sees a tribute band and they go home and they download a song and they pay for it, you get paid. Not the tribute band, the real artist. So we're actually helping the real artists make money, but
And keeping their name alive.
yeah, and keeping the interest
Exactly.
going,
Yeah.
So
Hey, listen, man. If anybody wants to put together an Edward Biss tribute, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Just cut me in for a penny. I don't know what the hell you'd play.
What are we on? Wait, are we on Shark Tank here? Yeah.
you have to wear a Chiefs shirt to bed,
You
and
gotta wear it. Chief Speedo, and it's
And
a mix
he does
between
have 'em, too. Oh my
it's
God.
a mix between rap, ukulele music, and some steel drum stuff. But
Now, do you do anything musically yourself? Like, do you play any instruments or sing or sing and dance? And
I was in bands from the late 80s through the mid 2000s. I was in original bands, came close to getting signed. moved to Virginia, got in another original band, and then I was in cover bands. And then once 2005 rolled around and I moved to Florida, I left my band. I'd done everything you could possibly could with a cover band and played the whole Virginia, Maryland, Delaware route. And I thought, I'm done with that. I started the agency, and I just haven't had the time to get into a band.
Mm-hmm.
I've done things where I've gone on stage with people.
With us about a million times.
I've written songs, and
really?
for me, it's more fun just to play. So I haven't really professionally gone on stage to do it.
Okay.
I could get in a band, but the job I have makes me feel like I'm in 433 bands.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, every day the drama, I'm like a shoulder to cry on half the time. And, it's great.
Or a punching bag.
And I've been a punching bag. And, I've grown a really thick skin in that regard. That's why I couldn't tolerate being in a band right now. I couldn't do it.
You wouldn't have the time or the mentality.
And a piece of advice to you guys out there, and maybe some of you will disagree with me, dictatorship works the best in a band.
she'll agree with that.
No democracy. Democracy does not work. I'm serious. Dictatorship works. One guy with a vision, and he just says, everybody show up, plug in and play, and be quiet, and we'll do everything else. That really works.
You're probably right, because you got a bunch of lazy slackers like me who just want to show up and rock.
Oh, I'm great at delegating responsibility. And
hell yeah.
Now.
Yeah. But I want to mention also, too, Rich is a veteran.
Oh, thank you for your service.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Thank you.
And what branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Army from 82 to 86 during the Reagan years. Went in for Be All You Can Be, went in for the college money, blew it, obviously. Bought a Camaro instead of going to college. Don't give an 18-year-old, after 2 months in the Army, $2,000, because they'll go, wow, $2,000, and they're not going to spend it on college. They're going to buy a car.
I concur.
Yeah, don't do that. So, I did my time in the Army, which is great.
Spent time over in Germany. He did.
Yeah, I did.
How nice.
Did 2.5 years in Germany.
Okay.
And that was during the time when the wall was still up and the DMZ. So I was about 20 minutes from the demilitarized zone, which I saw, which was scary. You look across the way and there's Russian guys looking at you. So that was a crazy time. And then when I got out and the wall came down, a lot of people don't even realize this. The West Germans didn't like the East Germans. They weren't happy about the wall coming down. You saw the stuff on the news, like how great it was.
Right.
The West Germans thought of these people as lowlifes. So, we don't want these people here. They're going to take our jobs and everything. It's unified now, but there was a long period of time where they didn't really get along, even though the wall came down. So, I knew a lot of German friends that were not happy about it. They were like, let them stay over there. So, but, and ultimately it was
take your crowd and get out. Get out!
Well, it's like anything else. People have to acclimate.
Du get
Das Boot! Give him das Boot!
Was ist los, mein Freund? Mercy to my großen Schwanz.
You curse at us all day long.
Yeah.
What if you mix German and Spanish and you call it Grande Schwanz?
Sounds like a taco.
It does sound like a sausage.
But I had a great time in Germany, not only being in the Army, but I saw amazing concerts. I saw the original Monsters of Rock. In 84, the last show David Lee Roth ever played, I was there.
That was a good one.
A lot of great shows, and it was just an amazing experience for a young kid. You go over to Europe, and it's not like anything you expect. I took German in high school. I thought I'd never use it, and I ended up going over there. So it was a cool time. But I came back and decided to grow my hair long and get in a band, and from there,
hair long. You mean hair high?
Oh yeah, I had
height.
I had the fro for a while.
He had the fro.
Took a while for it to grow. I used a lot of products.
He was like a young Gene Simmons.
I was more like a young Horshack. Hello, how are you? Mine. Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
So what do you got coming up on the horizon? What's around? Well, obviously we just spoke to on previous episodes to some of the guys from Absolute Queen and heading over to the Caymans for the Queen's Jubilee, which is seriously cool.
It's crazy that they're doing that.
What do you got coming on the horizon? Upcoming big shows, big bands?
Well, actually, this weekend is the first weekend of the Daytona Beach Band Show series, which has become like one of our biggest things we do. It's 40 shows through the summer, 5,000 people at a show. And this year it's great because with COVID, everything changing back to where it was, the shows are free. So there'll be a lot of people there. We just did the show last night. Today is Journey. Tomorrow's the Beach Boys.
I love Journey.
And it's so great because that he's played it many times. Beautiful location right on the water in Daytona.
We're playing the end of June.
Yeah, it's great. And he's playing with Crew. Motley Crue's playing there. So that's this weekend. That's the big thing this weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Who played last night?
Jimmy Buffett opened it up. It was a Jimmy Buffett series.
How did I not tell my in-laws?
Yeah, it was
Parrot Head Deluxe. And the venue's cool because it's right on the beach.
Yeah,
so you're on the beach watching the show.
You can be, but they have like a massive cement pavilion with this.
Oh,
it looks like a castle. It's like the castle right there on the beach.
Super
really cool.
Oh.
Super cool. The guy who runs it, Dino, is awesome.
Yeah. I've done when they did the bike week in Daytona. I've done Boot Hill. I went
Boot
to
Hill.
Boot Hill and somewhere else.
Yeah,
we saw you, but I've never done anything on the beach. I've never watched you do anything on the beach.
It's great because this series has really helped the city itself because it's really brought in a lot of tourists and things like that. A lot of businesses. A lot of businesses have thrived because of it. This end of May through September thing has been great for them. So, the city, we used to just do Saturdays, and the city's like, hey, we should do Fridays. So now the city does Fridays and all the holidays. So it exploded into this 40-date thing. So it's great. Yeah.
Wow, that's really big.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the band, it's great for the bands. You get to play in front of so many people,
It's honestly, it's one of the ones I always look forward to.
Well, that's a really big crowd.
Because it's just beautiful.
And you got pied. We pied you in the face too.
They pied me in the face on my birthday
in front of this huge crowd,
7,000 people.
Yeah.
So you've been loofed.
I've been loofed in the villages.
Pie in the face.
Pie in the face. Yeah. I've had They basically got everybody to sing happy birthday, and then they came up behind me, ripped my Malcolm.
We double pied him. Was poof.
Double pied me, and then I had to drive 2.5 hours home, smelling like spoiled milk and cream.
Well, you always do. So
I know, right? And my wife is driving home dry heaving because it's like baby vomit. So yeah, that was good times. But I love that crowd. I love that show. And Rich has stepped in and really helped them at a point where they needed it most. And he's been rock solid for them for a long time. So he's an auto go-to.
It's great. And everybody wants to play on it. And you can only, even though it's 40 shows, there's other bands that aren't going to get on it, and it's unfortunate. We try to change up some every year. There's favorites that have to come back. They have the same bands, because obviously business-wise, they want to have the same crowd, so they don't want to take too many chances. So we tend to have the same bands, but we've switched it up. Like Motley Crue came in there and with the Aussie band, and they killed it. And they're like, we got to have Motley Crue back. So they had them back. And so, yeah.
So do you do a lot of auditions for bands? A lot of bands? And
no, I have I have so many bands, and I have so many bands weekly that are writing me and they want to work with me. And usually it's something I'm either looking for or something that really surprises me. This band came at me, this Pat Benatar band recently, and I brought them on. And they didn't even tell me. They said, we did Janis Joplin, by the way. We were talking about Janis. I'm like, really? And they sent me a video. I'm like, oh, my God, this is great. So you can do Pat Benatar and Janis Joplin in one night. I'm like, that's really cool, unique. Let's market it. And we already got a show. So
how about Grace Slick? Can they do Grace Slick too? If they do Janis?
They could, but
it's amount you got to get. When it comes to tributes, Rich will tell you, it's really how many hits do they have and how long of a show can they put on to keep people. Okay. You have bands out there that are really only known for 3 songs, so it's hard to fill 90 minutes with 3 songs.
And I tell bands, like that. Like I had a band that was a tribute to the Cult, and I love the Cult, but really most people generally know 3 songs by the Cult.
Right.
And you go past that, what happens? Can you fill 90 minutes? You could, but it would be a lot of B-sides that you never heard of. So I'm like, learn another one. So we really, I'd say we pioneered the double tribute. Like we started with Journey and Bon Jovi, and that exploded. All of a sudden, it was like, wow, this is a great extra offering for clients. It's like, wow, I'm getting 2 bands in one day, or they could do Journey on Friday and Bon Jovi Saturday, and stay in one location. So that's really helped. I've got bands doing 4 tributes now, 3 or 4. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay.
It's not really a cover band thing. They're changing costumes, taking a break.
Full on.
We've had people not realize it's the same band. They're that good where they can change.
Because they're changing and their whole
So that's been a really cool thing that's come around for us.
Well, at our height, we were doing 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you had
Judas Maiden.
Yeah.
Queen. Judas Priest.
AC/DC,
Iron
Def
Maiden,
Leppard.
Queen, AC. Yeah, 5 tribute bands. Yeah.
So
that's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot of learning and a lot of buying outfits and guitars and everything else.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing that if you do all that and it doesn't work, and I feel for these people, and they come at me like, oh, why aren't there any gigs? I'm like, we tried it. You know, we put it out in the market. The market doesn't want it. No matter how good it is, then we got to try something else. And I have bands like that now where it's like it's not working. So we try new things, you know, try a different act, you know, and sometimes it hits. So.
Well, their band doing Highway to you know, doing AC/DC and doing Queen were to me the best of the best. You know, I mean,
she's a little biased now.
Well,
and that's only because she's got the hots for Martin, and you know.
Well, a lot of times it's
sorry, Jane.
This is on the air. Don't be saying.
A lot of times it's trends too that affect things. Like the Queen movie came out.
Oh yeah,
and Queen was already a popular thing to see, like as a tribute band, but it exploded after that. It was like the movie
back to life. It
really
them.
did,
Right.
and you know, people, it's still going. It's crazy how it keeps going,
and it increased their fanship because you had then children who don't know who Queen is, but watch the movie with their parents, and they're at your show singing every song with the Queen shirts and the fake mustaches.
Yeah, it's great to see kids that know this music now.
And they're running around with inflatable sheep. Like they're full on. But I'll tell you what. First of all, Rich also, think about it this way, Rich also puts bands together.
Yeah.
He's been responsible for creating
I've had ideas thrown at me. You know, these two brothers years ago came at me and said, hey, what do you think of us doing the Eagles? And I was like, all right, send me your stuff. And I saw them in Ybor, and they were great. And they've been going 17 years now. They're Alter Eagles, Todd and Greg Pitts. And they've branched off, and they do James
Alter
Taylor.
Eagles,
They do Simon & Garfunkel, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, CCR. They're one of the only, I think they hold the record for the most tributes.
Really?
But because they're such a vocal band, they can do anything. You know, they can get up there and do 4-part harmony. They're amazing. They're great
awesome.
band.
Oh, that's incredible.
That comes from a duo.
Great.
You know, you're like, oh, I saw Sharon and Dave, Fleetwood Mac, playing as a duo.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, kind of sound like Stevie Nicks. What do you think about doing that? And next thing you know, a month later, they're at Largo Cultural Center.
They're fantastic.
Yeah. They're playing tonight, actually, at Gildog up in Port Richey.
Oh, they're in Gildog.
Yeah.
Nice. Everybody, well, you're not going to see this episode until afterwards.
I know. But they'll
check
know
out
the
Gildog.
name. They'll know the name.
Yeah, but actually go to MaximumBands.com.
.com.
You could get them on Facebook, Instagram. Do you have a Twitter?
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere. Maximum Bands, Richard Rubin.
Parlor, I think. I don't know.
I definitely, what's the other one you're on? Grindr?
No.
You could get them on Grindr.
Grindr?
Grindr. That's not the Judas Priest one. That's the
that's
the alternative one.
Yes.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing. Doesn't make you a bad guy.
No, a bad guy.
Not at all. But yeah, you could find him there, and he's got everything. He offers everything. He's like a guy in the corner with a bad trench coat, and he opens it up, and there's 50,000 business cards.
Who was that?
Not that guy.
He's like, yeah, what do you need? What do you need? Yeah, you want insurance? I got insurance. You want a chain?
I'm the guy in the street corner with all the watches. Hey, you want a watch? It's a Casio.
Hey, what do you got? Glasses? Those aren't real Ray-Bans. Get out of here. I'll give you $5. Get out of here.
Hey, you want a purse? Go see my man across the street there.
Now, I saved this for last because I don't know how much time we have left, but I saved this for last because Rich is a big fan of comedy.
Yeah.
And Rich actually put together some material and went out and tested the stand-up life.
Yep.
Had some fun.
Yeah.
And, opened a couple of our shows with some of his jokes. And he's become now a new appreciator of comedy, hence Funny Minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a big Sebastian Maniscalco fan.
Love Sebastian Maniscalco.
Oh, you got to watch the new Ricky Gervais as well.
Yeah, I got to see that. I love comedy. I mean, I've always loved comedy. And I've had people tell me I'm funny, and actually my wife's the one that's like, you should go try this. And I have a deep respect for comedians more than ever now because going out there and trying it, even at my age, it's work. It's a lot of hard work. And there's guys out there that are pounding the pavement, doing these open mics constantly. And in this market, like this isn't New York or LA. This is Tampa. It's not the hotbed for comedians to get signed or seen. So these guys are out there. They're doing, and I've done it. They're doing breweries, open mics, and
private parties.
I played a biker bar out in Brandon somewhere. And there's like the only people that come into these things typically are other comedians. So your audience are guys that are just staring at you like, all right, can you get done so I can go on?
You're like, yeah, that sucked.
But I've done.
I'll steal that. No.
But the reward is if you get that chance, like I did Side Splitters. And
Oh, I'm going to meet them.
after you work so hard on this comedy and you don't know if it's really working because it's comedians and some of them laugh, and you get up there and people laugh. It's an amazing feeling because it's like, wow, this actually works. You know, these jokes are working. Oh my God. And it kind of spurs you on. But, you know, with COVID and everything, work was so busy.
Pity laugh.
I took a break, you know.
Pity laugh.
I took a break from it, you know, because I had to go back and really look at my stuff and what it was I writing and, you know, and because I really respect guys that can just talk about situational comedy. I can write jokes all day, but just talking, you know, are you funny?
Or observational.
Yeah, is you just funny?
Telling
you know,
stories.
Like what's his face? Jim Gaffigan can talk about a bottle of water for half an hour and make it funny. And it blows my mind, guys like that.
Oh, I love Ian Biggs. I love
Ian Baggs. Ian Baggs.
Yeah. Whatever.
Who's your favorite of all time? Number one.
Seinfeld.
Really?
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld is.
I thought you were gonna go Carlin.
Yeah, no, I love the old school guys.
Pryor.
Carlin is
Rodney.
Rodney is probably number two. I love one-liner guys, but you have to, if you're going to do that style, you got to commit to that.
That is a style.
I've heard comedians that say they can't understand how he could remember so many one-liners because it's not.
He rattle them.
It's not like comedy. Like when you write a set for comedy, and you probably know this, you kind of have a theme going, and you kind of know how to get to the next one. Mm-hmm. One-liners are just one-liners. He's like, how does he remember like 200 one-liners? You know, so yeah. I love guys. That Seinfeld was great because he just was like lethal. He was like a ninja up there. He just was so good about his mannerisms, and you know, just love that early Seinfeld. You know, the stuff now is all right, but Maniscalco, yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco is just great.
I like him a lot, and I like him because he's very well spoken, and like his observations are funny, but he also has a little bit of body movement.
Oh, his body movement is hilarious.
Almost like a Jim Carrey sometimes, where he'll do things and it's so
I
funny just like from a visual, even without him talking. And you're just like, that's hilarious. That's
he said the best thing to comedians. He said, you know, when you really got it is when you are yourself.
Yes.
When you can be yourself on stage. And I know what he's talking, because I get in my head, you get up there and I'm trying to remember my jokes and my pacing and my timing. When you can just be, and you see he's himself. He gets up there and he's just a nut. You know,
it's hard to do because you have to get your nerves in check. And when you start to do comedy, and like I did back when I tried it, and I say try because I didn't succeed, it's hard to be yourself. You feel like you got to create some shtick. Like,
yeah.
And you realize that that doesn't work because that's not, it's not funny because it's not who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to learn. And I worked with a guy, his name is Ted Alexandro. He was a professional comedian from New York. He was an ex-school teacher. This guy was phenomenal. And he said to me at Side Splitters, he said, you have to be yourself.
Yeah.
And it blew me away because I didn't understand.
Like, are you an angry guy?
About.
Are you the angry guy? Or
it didn't make
are you
sense
the quirky guy? What are you? You know, Sebastian's that guy that gets annoyed at everything, you know.
What's your thing?
You know, he's like, at Starbucks, you know, take it out of the bag and eat it. You know, he's just, and it's so funny because you go, I sit there and see people at the airport. He goes, what are you doing? Are you wearing your pajamas at the airport? You know, what is that? and I relate, you know, I love that stuff. And what's bad about that though is when you're trying to do comedy on your own, you tend to fall into what they're doing. You're like, oh, I'm doing Sebastian now. You know, I'm writing my stuff like him. You know, I just wrote something and I'm like, oh, that's a Sebastian bit.
His style,
you know, I did a thing about a strip mall and it was all about like strip malls. Like, you ever go to strip mall, you know, and they got the dry cleaner, they got the sushi place, and they got the pedicure place, right? And they're like the same people are working there. They're all like doing different shifts. And I'm like, I don't know if I want a guy scraping feet all day to be rolling my sushi rolls, you know? And I tell this to my wife, and we're going to the sushi place, and she's dying laughing. She goes, oh, my God, it's funny. I'm like, but it's true. Look, there's a pedicure place right next to the sushi place.
You don't know.
Was he using the shavings on the volcano roll? You know?
Fettuccine.
That's the kind of stuff I write. You know, it's observational, you know? You're going to go to sushi now, like, oh,
I go to sushi.
What's next door?
No, I'm not a sushi person, so don't worry. I'm not going to envision that. But we're gonna save some more of your comedy for our next episode.
Thank you.
And I'm going to thank you for being on this episode. I had a lot of fun.
Good to meet your mom.
Listening.
Again.
Well, you've heard me introduced as Mama Metal at things, but we've never really sat down and talked or anything.
Yeah.
But, I thank you for being on the show today. And I thank all of you for watching us. And please continue to watch us. And, of course, support our two biggest organizations, Breast Cancer and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And we really would appreciate that. And we'll see you next time. So you guys, my Gigglebits, have a great day. And I'll see you again.